That's why we are proud to be here. I was not brought by a plane here. I was not brought by a car here. I was driven by the spirits of those people who were dumped in the oceans. And when they were dumping them in the oceans, their cries are still crying loud till today. They did not dump them in the ocean only. They dumped them chained on their hands and their feet, and they could not fight. When the sharks were eating them in those oceans, they could not fight. Even if you know that today I'm going to die, but it is always good to die fighting. That you must hold the shark even when you know it's going to swallow me. I must die fighting.
I'm going to show you why black South Africans are comfortable with Dudula and going after African people whilst Julius Malema is pushing for African unity.
Why are you here in our country? Why are you in our country? You were not present when some of our brothers were dying. There were bloodshed happening here. Do you know about it? People were banned. A lot of things were happening. You were in your country, relax, while we fighting. We're now in our democratic dispensation where we should enjoy it. You come, you intervene, you take over what belongs to us. I'm going back to the same question.
I'm going to prove to you now. The first thing that you must understand is that the problem that South Africans are facing now, it's not a South African problem. This has been used by the white people during the slave trade back then. What used to happen was that the black strong tribes would sell the weaker tribes in their community for slaves and get in turn money. This is the same thing that has happened over the years in the African continent, that we see black Africans going after each other over tribal lines. Some good examples. What happened with the Biafran War? Many Biafrans were killed because they were Biafrans. Not that they were not Nigerians, but they were called Biafrans, which is another tribe in Nigeria. Same happened in Rwanda. Many Tutsis were killed just because they were Tutsi. If you go right now in any conflicted area in Africa, most of it is because of ethnical conflict, or what I can call tribal conflict. And this is the problem that we see in Africa. Whenever there is a tribal conflict, that conflict quickly escalates. How is it that black South Africans have not confronted white South Africans? It is very incredible.
You know why black people are scared of white people? It's not a joke. Even me. When I see a white person, my attitude changes. Like, we're traumatized people.
If you look at what happened in July 2021, when white people killed black people in Phoenix and Indian people killed black people in Phoenix, no black person, no black organization, no Dudula went to go and fight for the black people in Phoenix. How many farm murders are being witnessed on a day-to-day basis of black people? But no black person has stood up to do a protest of going against white people and say, stop black farm murders. Nobody has confronted it. But the white people have got the audacity to even come and do protest in the cities of South Africa, while black people cannot stand up for their own, even though they are the majority. How many black people are being oppressed in the white-collar jobs or in the offices, and they are not being rewarded the work based on their merit, but black people are not confronting that? It is very easy for them to do Dudula than for them to go after their common enemy, which is white, that has perpetuated slavery and neocolonialism and colonialism for years. Whilst Julius Malema is pushing for African unity, South Africans are pushing for Dudula, which I believe is not going to bring the inequality and justice in South Africa. But tell me what you think about the South Africans pushing for Dudula rather than the African
being. I was not brought by a plane here. I was not brought by a car here. I was driven by the spirits of those people who were dumped in the oceans. They did not dump them in the ocean only. They dumped them chained on their hands and their feet, and they could not fight.